Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video, and this is the final video in the Hasbro 6-inch G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 1. This is Scarlett, the 5th figure in the wave, and it is a good looking figure. Very bright colors, some things going on to it. A few accessories. We got 3 different knives, we got a crossbow, so some cool things on there, and she does look pretty good. Side artwork looking awesome. You got Scarlett there and a couple of different looks at her as well. We have the same poster on the back of the figure that all the other figures in the wave has. Here on the side we get the number 5 and her different emblem insignias. I think karate, crossbow, bow and arrow, knife and key. I don't know, that's like a file computer folder. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments below. It doesn't seem like anybody really knows what all of them mean or anything, or nobody has said anything yet, but here is the Scarlett figure. Let's get her out of the package and take a closer look. Okay, and here's the Scarlett figure out of the package. You know what? This figure's much better than I ever really would have thought. Some really cool things, some nice accessories, which we are actually going to take a look at first. Then we'll take a closer look at the figure and then go over articulation and see all of G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 1 together. So here we go. Okay, so the accessories for Scarlett, she comes with 3 different knives, and what I really like about these is that they are done in a matte black. So they are not like the shiny black like Snake Eyes has or anything like that. Now, none of these knives are actually the same from Roadblock or Snake Eyes. I thought one of them would be, but definitely not. You see this one's got a serrated edge on one side. There's the handle. She actually has storage for all these knives too, so that is actually really cool. You can see here, and actually these knives are the same, and I didn't notice that before. So 2 of the same knife, and then we get a 3rd knife here. So that's really cool. And then we have her crossbow. Now, the really cool thing about this crossbow is it looks really nice, but it's got some dual functionality to it, because as I was trying to put this in her hand, the crossbow portion came off. So you can have it as a blaster, even though I guess it'll look a little bit weird there. But it can work as a blaster on its own, and it's sculpted nicely. And then you have this crossbow part, and you can see it just kind of ports in, pegs there. And then there's a little spot which kind of secures that bow. There, so that's pretty cool. There's no storage for this, however, she would just have to hold it, of course, but then you could just put it back on like so, and you can see right there that bow, it just clips right back on. But in terms of storage, so here in the front, this strap, she's got a sheath right there, so the non-serrated knife will actually go into the sheath there in the front, as you can see. And on the back of her quiver, you can see you can actually put you could sheath both knives together. I don't think there's not really. Yeah, I guess it kind of is slotted in there, even though it looks like one large opening. It's kind of slotted, so you could kind of put it in. It is a tight fit, so be careful. Make sure you use 2 fingers. You don't want to just push it with one, because then you're probably going to bend the knife and then stress out the plastic, and you could either warp it or potentially break it. And then we'll port the other one like so. And then here you have the knife storage on the quiver. So that is pretty cool. Now let's take a closer look at it. Okay, here's a close-up look at the Scarlett figure, and it is done very nice. The face print technology is nice. She's got some freckles there. Lips are a very natural looking color. Little blue earrings there. All looks really good. Now there's some wash in the color of her hair, if we can get focused back. So we get this kind of lighter strand there in her bangs, and then right here at the top of the ponytail we get a little bit there, but that's it, not through the rest, and it's kind of a very bright orange. It just doesn't really look realistic. I think if we had some of this yellow shading or wash kind of through the hair, it would have looked a lot better, but we didn't get it. Not that big of a deal. Some very bright colors. We get a lot of yellow and some gold, actually more of a copper color, not gold, in her armor, and that looks really good. We get that same kind of turquoise, just blue color up there, some reds. The paint apps are all done very nicely throughout the figure, except for the boots. So a couple of things. We get some of the yellow, just doesn't really hit the mark all the way around here on the boot, and then on the back of the boots, the yellow paint over the black. It's just a really difficult thing for them to do. And then what's really weird is why the foot hinges are purple and not black. That's a little odd, right? Like, why would they do that? Just to give it some different color options? I'm not really sure. So that's kind of different. Actually, all those pins are purple as well. That's weird. Why would they do that? Like, why wouldn't they use a gray pin to match the color of the pants, or a red pin to match there, because it's the red on the red? I don't know. That's that's a little different. Here, these gauntlet or these forearm pads are nice. We got like these ninja throwing stars, whatever those are actually called. But the paint is all really nice throughout. Red, white star. Looks good. Here on the belt, we get a little of that bronze or copper paint there. The back of the figure, we actually get a lot of that copper and yellow paint as well, and that looks pretty good. Some of that turquoise there. The hands have that copper color there throughout. We get red for the pants over the gray, yellow and bronze on the knee pads with that turquoise in there a little bit too. Throughout, red at the bottom of the feet. Looks really, really good. This belt piece is just kind of floating around there. So really good things on this figure. Now let's check out her articulation. And there's a lot, and it's pretty good. Much better than Legends, but also similar. Let's take a look. Okay, so I took the quiver off to show you guys the articulation. This is just kind of getting in the way. So her neck is on a neck hinge, so she can look down, she can look up, and then the neck itself is on a whole nother special ball joint there, so you can get full motion. You can actually turn that neck independent of the head as well. Let me get that straight back. So you can move the head around all kinds of different ways, which is great. So here, this shoulder goes up this high. That little shoulder pad kind of gets in the way of a little bit, whereas the right arm, you can get a little bit higher, so that is good. You get a full rotation. Of course, there's a single jointed elbow, kind of like our Marvel Legends counterparts, so you're only going to get a 90-degree bend at that elbow. We don't even get the deep cut to get a more range of motion in there, unfortunately. But there is a butterfly joint in there. It's not super effective because it's pretty limited, but we do get one, as you can see. So here is kind of standard. So moving forward, you get some. Going back, you get some. So not a whole lot, but there is some. We get a diaphragm joint, so no ab crunch, so she can pivot to the side that much. She can tilt to the other side that much. She can go back a little bit, but you're kind of breaking up the mold of it there, and it's pretty noticeable. Crunching forward is only a little bit, but then the waist is on that ball joint as well. So not a standard swivel, so she can get her using all of it. Well, still not a whole lot going on in there, but going back, you definitely get a lot more, and that belt will really kind of hide kind of the roundedness of that joint in there. But that you can actually get, so you can have her tilt to the side a lot more doing that. The legs go out that far apart. She does have the drop down feature on the hip, so you can pull those legs down to get her to kick up way high. Goes back quite a bit. You get an upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, which works out really, really well. There is a boot swivel right below the knee. Foot hinges down, hinges up a little bit. Shin guard gets in the way. Ankle pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So really good articulation, but you know, single jointed elbow with the swivel at the elbow. You know, I guess that's just going to be typical for female figures from Hasbro, because I mean, even our Power Rangers, right? We only get single jointed elbows in those as well. These hips are kind of working out funky for me right now. So there is Scarlett's articulation. Still really good. Now let's see her up with some Joes. Okay, so before I show Scarlett off with the other G.I. Joe figures, I wanted to show you how she stands next to some other female figures from Hasbro. So here we have Black Series, and this is kind of an old beat-up Ray, like #2 figure or whatever it is. That thing really hasn't held up well. That's pretty bad for a Black Series figure. But you can see that she's much shorter than Scarlett. But then we have a movie Black Widow figure. It's about the same size as Scarlett, but shorter than comic characters. And then you have like Power Rangers, which is a little bit smaller, but kind of in that same scale, since, you know, teenager versus adult. So they all kind of, I mean, they're all about the same, but you can see Scarlett is more in line with movie figures. And I think this Black Series figure, maybe it's just a little bit smaller than some of the new Ray figures. You know, I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments below, but there they are all, so you can see size-wise. And of course, here is Scarlett next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee figure. Okay, and here is the Hasbro 6-inch G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 1 figures all together. And of course, Scarlett is going to be the shortest of the bunch. Now, looking at these figures, just a quick on my thoughts on the entire line, is Hasbro is doing a fantastic job. Now, you might be thinking, why don't they do this kind of thing with Legends? There's a few different reasons why, I think. I think the license for Marvel costs Hasbro quite a bit, so they don't make as much money on the line, whereas on a G.I. Joe line they would, because they straight up own G.I. Joe, as opposed to Marvel, where it's just a licensed property. G.I. Joe is theirs. Hasbro owns it. The movie coming out is a Hasbro movie. Like, I think they have Hasbro Studios or Hasbro Production or something. You know, they make movies. They did a Battleship movie based on the board game, for crying out loud. So those are some of the reasons why. Obviously, Hasbro wants to do it big with G.I. Joe introduction into the 6-inch scale line. So, of course, they're going to come out hard and heavy in the first wave. Will we see a deterioration in the quality as waves go on? Hopefully not. You know, now that they have these type of molds and the articulation, things like that, I would like to think they set a standard for what they're going to be doing in future figures. Time will tell. We shall see. But I think for Wave 1, Hasbro knocked it out of the park. They did a fantastic job. I can't wait to see what else they're going to give us in future lines, in future waves and figures. You know, not to mention that we also have the exclusive deluxe Snake Eyes. So just fantastic all around on what Hasbro has given us. I'm excited to see more. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think. Are they meeting your expectations from what you can tell? I know a lot of folks don't have their hands on these yet, but based on my reviews, you guys let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video or any of the other videos, please hit those like buttons. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you get up to date with all new videos. As always, thank you for watching.